Well, hello there, Uber-Tuber-Rubers and Tuberettes alike. It's a short talk. Where? In the trailer park. With who? That old guy. Hey, come on in, sit down, have a beer if you like. I'm drinking these guys who refuse to send me money. Still waiting on that endorsement deal. I remember, I might have mentioned this. I think when Michael Jordan was playing, I think he was making 20 or 30 million dollars from playing ball. But his endorsement contracts with like Nike and whoever else was like 100 million at the time per year. And so I thought, well, yeah, probably going to be real similar with me. Yeah, real similar. So anyhow, it's good getting back with you. I wanted to just kind of shoot the proverbial breeze, as it were, and hope we hit something. I we did that big old job on Tuesday night. We went in about 8, and we got out about 7 in the morning. And boy, that job was a wild one. There was a softener in there. I've never seen one like it, but of course it's full of beads and water. And so, guess how much that thing weighs? I'd rather not know. My estimate was probably 80 to 90 gallons. So 8 times 8, call it 650 pounds of water. And then the tank itself is probably another 180. So the thing was a minimum 800 pounds. And it was almost impossible to move. And we ended up having a kind of a nylon belt around it, have 2 guys pulling and 2 guys pushing, and we could barely budge it out. And anyhow, we finally got her all put together, and the young guys I was working with, they did a great job, and I told them so. I wanted to make it real clear. I was happy with what I saw that night. They were very productive, and, they're still learning and trying to figure things out. But I tried to stay more or less in the background. I did all of the soldering because I didn't trust them to do that. And there wasn't that much soldering, really. This ProPress fastening system is just great. If you ever happen to be, maybe you could watch a video on it. Here's your mail piece of copper. You slip whatever the hub of that thing is, whether it's an elbow or a coupling, doesn't really matter. Goes on there, and it's got this O-ring inside there. And so you put this jaws of this tool on there, and it goes and crushes it. And it's just the O-ring that seals, and it's weird how fast fittings can go, like a 2x1.5 T. Oh, put a bell reducer, give me another T, give me another L, give me 245s. And in order to put that together by soldering would have taken hours. And this stuff, it went together jolly good well, I'll tell you that. It sounds like a foreigner talking, but there you have it. I just wanted to let you know that I have survived another Thursday. Boy, we were overworking at the city today, and one of the things we had to do was cut in a water line for an eye wash station out in the welding area. Well, nobody out there in the city knows. I mean, this is a complex. This is a huge building, probably 14 outbuildings, all kinds of stuff out there. The city water, the city gas, the city solid waste guys are out there. I mean, there's probably 200 or 300 city vehicles parked in the lot at all times. I don't know why they have so many. But at any rate, I asked the guy today that I was working with named Rudy, I said, how many people work out here anyhow? He didn't know, but he thinks it's over 300. Well, anyhow, nobody knows where the shutoff is for this water line. So we had to go back to the meter. And I tell you what, it's like a quarter mile away. It was a 2-inch system. It's feeding like 9 buildings or 8 buildings. And I said, oh, this is going to take a while to drain this booger down. Because, I mean, that's a lot of volume. And by the time I got over there, which was maybe 2 minutes later after we shut off the meter, it was like, where's the water? It was just barely trickling out. And I thought, it's drained down that fast? And I thought, we only got 2 sillcocks open, one on this end of the building, one on that end. Those are the only 2 we opened, and yet the pressure fell out that fast. And so I said I told Rudy, I said, I know what that means. I said, somewhere down here you've got some serious water leaks. The problem is the soil there is so sandy that it'll essentially eat it. The water table is down below, probably another 30 or 40 feet below is the water table. But this sandy soil in between is the old river floodplain. And back before the river was ever dammed. And so the level of sand there, it'll eat that water forever. It's never going to show it. So I told him, I said, you might find a way to trace leaks here, but you got a lot of line to look for. But I told him, you're leaking pretty bad. And anyway, so that made my fix a lot easier, I'll tell you that. And so we got set up. We got shut off here, got a shut off over there, and I even got the eye wash station mounted back into the slab with 3 anchors. And boy, I like them pin anchors, good stuff. And you take, it's kind of a yellow looking bolt, and it's got a little pin thing, looks like almost a nail coming out through the bolt. So you knock a hole in the slab. My anchors were 3/8, so I used a 3/8 drill, go figure. And then just drop it in there, and you just swat that top of that pin like 2 times with a hammer. That anchor ain't moving, ever. And so, I mean, you could probably blow it out with a breaker, but that thing ain't coming loose by itself. So at any rate, we got that bad boy stuck down, and by then it was the end of the day, and it was right about then that I decided to drop, I believe it's a 4 or 5 inch 45. I was in the welding shop, so they got prefabricated 45s sitting there on the shelf, and if you ever looked at weld fittings, the way they do them is for stick welding. So they'll bevel the edge downward and you fill in the middle. And so this thing had a nice sharp edge, and it landed on my left toe. Goodness, it only fell 22, 24 inches, but man, that hurt. I tell you, if I ain't hurting myself or losing something, I don't know what kind of day it is. Tomorrow's going to be a Friday, and we're going to head over and do the mystery 75-gallon water heater that we've been stalling on for about 3 weeks or more. And the water heater finally came in. Hooray! And I hope it goes smooth. But, you know, one of the things is it's down in the basement. How am I going to drain a water heater, 75 gallons, in a basement? Oh, you should have seen that cartoon I had going on for the... golly. With that, trying to drain that 100-gallon tank on the left. Of course, the drain was worthless. Couldn't get a drop of water out of it, so I had to pull the drain. As soon as I do, here comes that water, and I mean like right now. And see, we were draining 2 tanks at once, and so this had already admitted air into the system, so that thing just ran for it. Well, I forced in a 3/4 nipple, 2 turns, and then I had this crummy piece of hose. So we're running it over a sewer here. Guess what? Sewer backs up a lot. So we're floating water all over the floor of the restaurant. So we got a guy going crazy with a squeegee trying to drive it out the rear door. Another 2 guys are passing me buckets. We're going to keep filling it up. And, you know, by the time we got done, it was... I'm just glad we didn't blow anything up. But anyhow, when you get into those kind of crazy situations where you're trying to... Once you got the water heater and it's draining and you cannot control it, then you kind of want to just pack it up and leave. I don't know what happened. Got a big flood. Got to go. No, I wouldn't do that. But anyhow, so I'm going to drain a water heater in a basement. Sounds like I should probably bring an air compressor and blow it out. Makes sense to me. But anyhow, we'll see how she goes, and maybe I'll give you an update on that someday. I got a call from my friend. I've been doing this side job thing. This house he's going to flip. I hope he flips it, because I mean the financial stuff that's going on right now. I hope he don't get stuck with this monster. He's a real estate guy, and he's trying to make it, trying to get started. So I think this is his first house that he's flipping. And so they're doing a pretty big remodel in there. And I hope it goes on the market and sells. But at any rate, Saturday I'm probably going to try to go and wrap up, I hope, what is the last stage of this before the drywall and the paint are done. So I did silcox last week, and the shower valves and the tub shower valve. And so my Saturday's already chewed up too, and I guess I don't mind it so much. You know, the Lord, He designed us to work 6 days and take 1 off, the 7th, rest on the Sabbath. Well, it just turns out that that's Saturday on our calendar. And so what's called the Lord's Day, which is actually the first day of the week, if you look at the gospel narratives, it says that the ladies were headed out there to the tomb on the first day of the week. That was a Sunday morning. And so the Sunday became the Lord's Day, and so what we ended up was 2 days off, and that became the norm. And of course, next thing you know, here in America, everybody wants 3 days off, 4 days off. You know, why not have a 4-day weekend every week, you know? And so everybody's trying to shrink the amount of time that they work. But what happens if you like working? I mean, what am I going to do if I'm not working? Well, I could sit around here and go take a walk, pull some weeds, call up a friend and say, let's go have a pizza. I mean, what? I don't know. It's not like I have this whole social calendar that's just crammed full. Not exactly. So when you get a chance to think about how valuable is your time off, how valuable is what you would call, your time, my time, the time that you just want, maybe you want to be with somebody, or maybe you want to sit by yourself. I prefer being by myself, to be honest with you. And the thing is that you balance that against what you've promised and what kind of needs to be done out there. But, I mean, you can't help everybody and you can't get everything done. You ain't Superman and you ain't Superwoman. But you can do what you can do, and you should do it if you can. And so when you're looking at, trying to balance, how am I going to, with the world falling apart and poor Sam's going to be stuck with this house, I still need to make a profit at what I'm doing. I mean, I'm not asking for diamonds and gold, and I'm not billing them out the wazoo, but I don't want to do this work for free, because frankly, it's a pain in my neck. And sometimes I just get so frustrated thinking, wouldn't it be nice if I just had one of those high-paying jobs where I sit around at a desk for a couple of hours a day, and then on the way out the door I tell Wanda or somebody, if anybody calls, take a memo. I'll see it in the morning. I don't know who those guys are, but with the way things are going, everybody wants a high-pay and easy job that, so all the problems go away. And those high-pay and easy jobs are going away. We're going to be left with a lot of hard times and a lot of suffering. So we do best, I think, to learn, like the folks in the 30s did during the Great Depression, to be very thrifty and to use up everything and waste nothing as best as we can, because things are going to be changing bad, perhaps very soon. And you might not even be able to use cash after a brief time. We don't know what's going to happen. But we do know this: the Lord, who is the source of all wealth, He is the treasure Himself. He has presented Himself in the Holy Gospel as, if you can kind of think about those stories where supposedly there's a bucket of gold at the bottom of a rainbow. I don't know who put it there, leprechauns or somebody. But he's the gold that's at the base of the rainbow. And the rainbow, you'll remember, is a sign of God's covenant. Covenant He swore upon His own honor that He would never again flood the earth as He did in Noah's day with water. He didn't say anything at all about fire in that one. So the Apostle Peter makes it quite plain that the next I knew I was going to goof that up. Apocalyptic, there you go. The next apocalyptic end of the human race would not be a flood by water, but a flood by fire in divine fury. So this is part of the Christian gospel, and if you've ever heard any of that at all in a church, I'd be very surprised. They don't talk about that stuff. And the thing is that we look forward to a new age, a new world, a new creation. The Apostle John says, "Behold, the old heavens and the old earth passed away, and there was new heavens and a new earth." He's going to remake everything, and guess what? We get to see how it's done. We get to sit up in the bleachers and observe this, and perhaps even participate in it somehow. I don't know what we'd be doing, but this is a wonderful opportunity. Can you imagine 10,000 or 100,000 or a million years from now saying, well, at the creation of this universe, we were there. We were witnesses. We saw it done by Him. And so, boy, that's an exciting idea. And so when you want to wonder about, is this job worth doing? Do I really want to get involved? Look at this, the world's falling apart, blah, 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 whatever. You do what you can do when you can do it with what you have. And you do your best. But your best maybe not really that good, but that's who we are. And we present that to Him, and we ask for healing, we ask for guidance, and we ask that He would make something where we just tried to do something, or He would redeem something that we obviously screwed up several times. We want to find a new way of presenting ourselves, and the only way to do that is under the covering of the cross of Christ. His blood, His broken body, the atoning sacrifice. If that ain't what you got in your back pocket as your sole strategy, then maybe you better check what's in your pocket, because it ain't nothing worth having. At the end, everything passes away in fire, except His Word and His people. Even reality as we know it is going away. And that's frankly very weird. But we say it because that's what the Bible teaches. So soon, one day, we will be sheared off from everything that is real in this world, whether by death or by His coming. And we have a good attitude about it, don't we? We have a great attitude thinking, you know what the best part of that is? We'll be able to see you, Lord Jesus, right there in person and hear it right from your mouth. That's what's worth waiting for. Boy, you think that English thing had kind of come to me after a while. Someday I'm going to master walking too, I guess, without bumping into walls and stuff. So you guys have a good day, and run fast, run to win, and don't let the who get you down. You're on the winning side. Amen.